Well, this is you'll hear us say this, and I think when you visit, this will come across loud and clear that West Point is the preeminent leadership institution, not in the country, but we would argue in the world.
Right.
That's why we exist, and we're developing leaders of character for service as commissioned officers in the United States Army, and that again is unique because we're not talking about Navy, Air Force. We're not talking about for Wall Street or for IBM. We're talking about Army officers. We're talking about people I guess I make this argument all the time. I said, what keeps a young lieutenant awake at night today in Afghanistan are the same things that kept that centurion awake 2,000 years ago.
Right.
You know, the human model hasn't changed. Certainly, the technologies that surround these institutions and the military service have dramatically changed. But at least within the Army and the Marine Corps, I would argue, the human element, that the individual, the soldier, is still the human animal, and that hasn't moved in 4,000 years, according to my last reading of Gilgamesh. So, you know, and of course the rest of society and the services have moved into it's a brave new world. You know, the technologies and the how people communicate and socialize. I mean, we're living in a dramatic moment, and yet the human beings haven't moved at all. So again, in our game is by definition, it's a martial game. The game of football is, you can trace the origins of our game back to Spartans training their youth to fight in the phalanx. So it's entirely appropriate that those virtues that we put on a pedestal at a service academy would be amplified on the football field.
Right.
You know, those things are in play. Those things are when those virtues are in place, you get rewarded for it. In their absence, you get punished. And as I said, one of our great soldier in our history, General MacArthur, arguably the best soldier, the greatest soldier that our country's produced. When he was a superintendent here, circa 1920, he made the statement that every cadet would be an athlete. Right. He believed he has a famous quote that upon the fields of friendly strife are sown the seeds that upon other days will bear the fruits of victory. So the idea that we are going to use this developmental model, we are going to take these casual pastimes, and we're going to turn those into leadership and team building laboratories. And those skills are waiting for you when you graduate. Those skills are going to be relevant to what you're going to be doing shortly after graduation. And that's not true for every football player in America, but it's absolutely true for our guys.
Right.
And so again, that's why we play here, because we see that as setting these young guys up for great success and getting them off to a great start in their professional careers as military officers.
Right.
Obviously, there's a lot going on here at West Point. Not everybody plays football, but we're all pulling in the exact same direction. Whether we're talking about our guys in the Department of Physical Education or the Department of Military Instruction or the Department, or the guy in the Physics Department, we all have the same job here. We're developing leaders with character, and we all pull in the same direction. We all run our different laboratories. We all have our different venues, but we all are focused on that same outcome. And that's unique to any institution that I've ever been associated or heard of.